Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's
Morning.
that time again, of course. Good morning to Alexandra Bondakov, one of our attorneys here. Good morning to Conrad Pollack, managing partner of the firm. I am David Squeeze Annakie, CEO of the Link Up Media Group of Companies. And it's that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time to start the show. The show is called Cruising with the Case Handler. And that show is about personal injury and it's about immigration law. It's brought to you by the law offices of Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where we get your immigration questions answered. This is where we speak on personal injury. The firm has been around for 60 solid years. 60 solid years. And what it is that this firm does, there is no other firm on this station, off this station, around the nation that is like this firm. And that's the reason why I take pride in broadcasting with them each and every single weekday at 9:30 a.m. right here on this station, 93.5 WVIP FM Eastern Standard Time, and also on the weekends between 6 and 8 on Saturdays and 10 and 2 p.m. on Sundays. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome, of course, the panel today. Starting it off, we have none other than the lady that has been nicknamed the boss lady, Alexandra Bondakov. How are you doing today, Alexandra?
I'm great. How are you?
I am wonderful. A little bit overcast today, but we're here in New York City, grinding and getting at it. Welcome again to the show, and I'm looking forward to hearing your updates on immigration as to what's happening. And then we have the managing partner, Mr. Conrad Pollack, big superstar, seen him on multiple national television stations recently. All right. It's good to have him here, a practicing attorney and the head of the firm, the managing partner, Conrad Pollack. Welcome to the show, Cruising with a Case Handler, a show on personal injury and immigration. How are you feeling today?
Good, good. Yeah, I've been making the rounds on television the last couple of days, so been busy. So I
Excellent.
appreciate you spreading the word on the very favorable, successful result in the case that we've been working on, getting the
Wonderful job, man.
getting our
Why
client
don't you
out of
tell
it.
people? Yeah,
Go
why
ahead.
don't you tell people about you being on the national television stations in the nation and why you were on? I know you've been talking about it for a few weeks, you and your staff. Why don't we talk a little bit about what it is that went down on television? I thought it was pretty cool, man.
Well, we've been representing this gentleman, Mr. Singh, from India, who's been in the United States since the early '90s, and um, long story short, he was detained last summer and thrown into immigration detention last June. They sent him down to Louisiana. He was out of contact with his lawyers, with his family. He has a U.S. citizen wife. He has 3 U.S. citizen children. His 8-year-old daughter has cerebral palsy. Is totally dependent on the mom and dad for everything. He's the sole breadwinner in the house. Basically, immigration showed up at his house one night and took him away and locked him up and said, "It's time for you to go home." And the fact is, he was illegally in the United States since the early '90s. Had been told to leave the country back in the '90s, but had been working towards getting his green card. Had been operating under what's known as an order of supervision, which is kind of like, somebody who gets out of jail. They see their parole officer once a month. Same thing here. He
Right.
was supervised visitation, seeing his let's call his ICE parole officer for 15 years. No crimes, paying his taxes every year, working, good man, and taking care of his family and a value to our society. Anyway, under the previous administrations, no zero tolerance policy. They basically showed up at his house one night and took him away. And they were going to deport him, but for our efforts at PPID, team effort, Yi Zhao and Nelson and Alan Kay, the general, and me, and various other people at the firm. We worked tirelessly to keep him here first, and then finally to get him out of jail. And finally, after all of our efforts, including some political I was going to say contributions. It wasn't contributions, including some political contacts that we had. We were able to bring as much pressure as we could to bear on the government, and also with the change in administration, certainly didn't hurt. Finally, Mr. Singh was released from jail on Monday and went back to his family in Queens, and every local television station was aware of it, and
Very
Newsday
glad to hear that.
wrote some articles about it, and Channel 7 and Channel 12 and Channel 8 and Channel 11 picks. And so I've been making the rounds, and you know, if anybody out there is interested in autographs, just contact my MC here, Squeeze, and he'll get your name and your address, and I'll send you my autograph.
Well, you know what? I mean, I was very impressed, and I felt very proud to see one of the attorneys that I work with on national television. I was extremely proud of that. I was very, very proud, because you have been on this radio station for about a year, and we've been talking to the Caribbean community. We've been talking to hundreds of thousands of people out there who have immigrant problems, and some listen, some don't. And I want people to actually see that it's just not 93.5 FM. It's the WABCs, it's the WPIX, it's all these national television stations that carried Conrad Pollack, carried okay, attorneys from the law firm Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico, that represented this gentleman, that represented this family. This is what Link Up Media is about. This is what PPID, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico is about. This is the firm that you want to go with to actually get yourself, ladies and gentlemen, the right attorneys. Not screaming attorneys, not attorneys that's on the corner down, well, non-attorneys that's on the corner down there. You want to go with the right attorneys. They have proven themselves. ABC, I'm sitting in my living room watching, and there's Conrad's face in television. I'm like, yeah, touchdown. All right. You know, WPIX, touchdown. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm saying to you is this: you need to have the number of a full service law firm that matters and that have proven themselves. And that happens to be Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. If you've got an immigration problem right now, dial this number. Okay, today's the 11th day of February. This is not some tape we're running. All right, dial this number, store this number. Maybe you will need it for immigration. Maybe your friend will need it. Maybe a family member will need it. Someone out there, maybe a foe. But dial the number now. It's 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. 844-PPID-LAW. How many attorneys that's on this station, how many firms that off this station, on the station, you see on the television network month to month, back to back? Well, that happened with PPID. Call it 844-774-3529. I want to say congratulations to the Singh family. I'm very happy that he's back home with his family, considering the health of his daughter and considering the situation that we are in, the pandemic. Thank you so much, PPID, for what it is that you did for that family. You are definitely appreciated.
You know, also, he's out of jail, which of course is the most important thing. He's back with his family. I'm assuming he's back at work today. But he doesn't have his green card yet. You know, he had filed for his green card a couple of years ago. He had previous legal representation. And who knows what happened? You know, I don't know what they were doing.
But it wasn't PPID though. The previous legal, it was not PPID.
We were retained after he was incarcerated last year to clean up the previous attorney's mess, basically. And as I mentioned, his wife's U.S. citizen. His 3 kids are U.S. citizens. His wife filed for him a couple of years ago. The visa petition has never been adjudicated. We're in federal court right now. In fact, Yi Zhao and I were talking last night because he's handling that aspect of the case, and we're reaching out to the federal court today to find out what's going on with that visa petition. We have an action pending. It's called a mandamus action. You know, if you file for benefits with the Immigration Service, file a visa petition or whatever, and you don't get a response, you don't have to just sit there, you know, with you twiddling your thumbs. You can bring what's called a mandamus action in federal court and force the Immigration Service to make a decision. That's what we're doing here. You know, we filed this action a couple of months ago, but our first priority is getting him out of jail, which we've now done. Now we are trying to get that visa petition adjudicated so we get him his green card. You know, he could theoretically, immigration could come back to his house this weekend and take him back into custody. You know, so he's not out of the woods just yet. And this is a common situation. The fact is, immigration's been sitting on his case for a couple of years, and nobody knows why. We're about to find out, and I'm sure we're going to resolve it, and we're going to get him his visa petition approved, and he should have his green card within a year. So he's not out of the woods yet, but I think we can see some daylight ahead.
Absolutely. And once again, folks, if you're just joining us, the show is called Cruising with a Case Handler. The case handler happens to be a partner at the firm Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico, who is in the capacity of personal injuries, not on the show today, but the rest of the firm well, is represented by Alexandra Bondakov and Conrad Pollack, two of the attorneys. And we're talking about immigration. The firm was built on immigration, a 60-year-old firm. I want to hear what Alexandra has to say in reference to that specific case with Mr. Singh, how she feels about it. And Alexandra, I want to ask you, what do you have to say to all the people out there who want to do their case by themselves, all the people out there who have complications or non-complications? Okay, what do you have to say to them out there in reference to their immigration status? I need to hear from you.
I guess it boils down to don't try to do it yourself. Despite the new administration, things are still very complicated. Things change on a daily basis. I think that you would be best served if you do have a case to call an attorney, call us. We're happy to help.
Absolutely. And also, listen, people, don't think I don't know what you're thinking. You're saying, Squeeze, I've got the mortgage to pay. I got the rent to pay. I got the car note to pay. I got to put food on the table. Well, let me just say something. You have to prioritize yourself. All of those are necessary, and we have to make adjustments in our life to sort out our status in the United States, regardless of the current administration. Hey, you can get kicked out of the country if you're not in the right status. So that's the reason why I say to every single immigrant out there, regardless of your race, creed, color, religion, ethnicity, get to PPID. At least get a consultation going. Speak with them. Get that consultation going and say, hey, Conrad, hey, Alexandra, here are my questions. Give me an answer, please. And then you decide if you want to retain them. I would say retain them. Once again, folks, every one of you out there, at least dial the number, let it ring a few seconds and store the number. The number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. 844 PPID law. Good job, guys. All right, Alexandra, any updates you want to give us on immigration before we get to the questions on the radio here?
Well, a lot is going on. The tide is slowly turning, and I would like to use the H-1B visa category as an example, since we are in the middle of the H-1B filing season. And just as a reminder, the H-1B is a temporary worker visa category for professionals that are coming here to perform services in a specialty occupation, meaning it requires at least a bachelor's degree. This was a favorite category for the prior administration. They didn't like it. They tried to limit its applicability at all costs. There were several regulations that they promulgated, which have now been delayed. But the change is also happening at the agency level. We have a new DHS secretary and Alejandro Mayorkas, and we see his impact almost immediately with respect to the H-1B visa. The prior administration had a memo targeting computer programmers, saying that this position is not a specialty occupation. This memo has been rescinded. Also on the executive order level, President Trump, almost one of the first things he did was implement the Buy American, Hire American memo, which had a severe impact on employment-based visas because it gave a lot of leeway to adjudicators to write in a requirement that's not in the law. That is, they almost wanted to see that there are no Americans for this job before they would approve it. So this is gone, which is great news. The prior administration also had a memo that directed adjudicators to issue notices to appear, and that basically means that people would be referred to immigration court for deportation anytime they would deny certain benefits applications. This memo has also been rescinded. So we are seeing some small changes, whether or not the sort of the bigger picture would come to fruition, meaning the proposed immigration reform bill, we don't know yet, but we're seeing small steps in the right direction.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for that update. Alexandra Bondakov, one of the attorneys at the firm, Pollack, Isaac and DeSico, PPID, they are referred to as. And once again, the phone number is 844-774-3529. It's actually great to see people actually responding after hearing of the fact that Mr. Conrad Pollack here was on national television helping out an immigrant, Mr. Singh, who is back with his family out of jail because PPID took the case from another firm, okay, after they, I won't say screw up, I don't know what happened back there, but they definitely didn't do a good job. And
Hang on,
PPID
wait, squeeze. We didn't take the case from the former attorney. Our client had apparently been represented by this other law firm for years,
right,
and ended up in jail. They filed a visa petition. It was pending for over a year and a half. Not a word. And I assume they were desperate, and they found us. Actually, they found Alan Kay. He has a fairly substantial. Yes, he has a fairly substantial following among the Southeast Asian Indian communities, and they found Alan, and basically, the PPID team got to work, and as I said, it took a good 8 months to get him out, but we finally did it. You know, his family was originally interviewed on WPIX back in December before Christmas. And
right,
I think we had posted that on site here as well.
yes,
And it was just, you know, even the reporter who I was dealing with, she, you know, she was heartbroken by what was going on there and the facts
yeah,
of the case, because it was such a sad story. And you know, one of the things I've been telling them, and I told each of these reporters over the past couple of days, you know, I've been doing this for 30 something years, and I've seen a lot of sad stories, and unfortunately, a lot of them don't really end well. They start out sadly, and they end just as sadly, if not worse. This one was a very happy ending. Again, not finished yet, but again, the daylight is apparent through the trees, and you know, it's nice to see. It's cases like this that make doing what we do. Alex, I'm sure will agree with me. It's cases like this and the results, a result like this, that makes doing what we do worthwhile. You know, to really have an impact and an effect on people's lives, and not just Mr. Singh and his wife, but his kids. You know, he has 3 little kids. You know, 8, 5, 6 years old. You know, I mean, this will affect them in their lives. You know, for the rest of their lives. So it's good stuff.
well, good stuff, great stuff. Once again, congratulations to the Singh family. PPID, when offered the case, took the case, okay? But let me ask you, Conrad, Alexandra, what would have happened, God forbid this was ignored, God forbid you guys did not accept the case, okay, take them on as a client, what would have happened to Mr. Singh? Would he still be in jail? Would he have been kicked out of the country? Would have what potentially? Let me start using my legal term, the little law courses that I did in school. Let me disclaim. You know, what potentially could have happened?
There is no potential. He would have been deported. He would be back in India.
Just like that.
He would have been back in India months ago. And
Wow.
once that happens, it would still be possible to get a green card. However, it could take him up to 10 years to get back to the United States, depending on what the
Jesus.
circumstances were. That's right.
And considering that his daughter had a health condition, what was that health condition?
His daughter is he has 3 daughters. His 8-year-old has cerebral palsy, as well as a chronic lung condition. Plus, while this is all going on, as if they didn't have enough troubles, the entire family got COVID. They came out of it finally. Then, as we're working on getting Mr. Singh released, he comes down with COVID.
In jail.
Yes. Then he was in quarantine for weeks. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's just.
No. And from what I heard, he was at the time when he got arrested was the sole breadwinner of the family back then.
Correct.
Unbelievable. You know, an Uber driver he is.
He is, yes.
Speaking like Star Wars here, like Yoda. All right. Well, listen. Great job, good job. Hopefully, I didn't go off too much on a tangent with it, but I think it's a great story. As you noted, you can't make this stuff up. PPID, Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico is the only law firm that you will need, folks. So once again, if you're listening to yours truly, David Squeeze Annakie, I fully endorse this company. They have proven themselves. They are proving themselves. And that's the reason why I say to you, you don't have to like me. My job here on radio is to give you products and services that do work. and Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico, they do work. Ladies and gentlemen, every one of you out there, dial the number, let it ring 10, 15 seconds, like I always say, and store the number. You never know when you're going to need a solid attorney, an excellent attorney, an exceptional attorney to handle your immigration case or someone else. Or if you get hurt in an accident, you will need the case handler. That's Adam Handler, one of the partners at the firm. Once again, give them a ring. 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. 844-774-3529. Phenomenal job by the law firm PPID. All right, let's jump into some questions here today. Immigration questions. See that we have all the time, and Mr. Handler is not here. Inside joke. I have a friend. He's on the F1 visa. He got married to a U.S. citizen last month. He got married to a U.S. citizen, comma. Last month, they applied for a green card, adjustment of status. Should he still continue going to school to maintain his F1 status, or he should just leave school now? Alexandra?
We always recommend that people maintain their non-immigrant statuses as long as possible. Anything can happen. So basically, my advice would be, yes, try to maintain the F1 status as long as you can. It's not crucial, but it's definitely advisable.
Advisable. All right. Once again, that question answered, that F1 question answered by Alexandra Bondukov. What is an F1 status? F1 visa, by the way, Alexandra.
The F1 is for students who come here to pursue an academic degree or are engaged in an English language course.
Got you. All right. Thank you so much for that explanation. The number, once again, is 844-774-3529. Once again, the show is on immigration and personal injury, brought to you by the law firm PPID. Let's go to question number 2. On March 16, 2020, F2A visa. How soon do you think I will get an interview? Will Biden new rules speed up my interview date? Can I expect my interview in April? Alexander?
This is a great question, and I think I answered a similar one the last time I was on the show, and I think there are many listeners who are in the same boat, basically. And my answer, unfortunately, remains the same. The consulates are not functioning normally. There haven't been any visa interviews since March of last year. There is a significant backlog. With respect to whether Biden's administration will change things, we expected that the visa issuance ban would have been rescinded by now. It has not been. Many advocates have sent a letter, over 100 organizations have sent a letter on December 5th to the administration asking them to specifically lift the immigrant visa ban, which, by the way, the F2A would be subject to. So my answer is almost with a certainty, and I never say anything with certainty when it comes to immigration, but I think that it's extremely unreasonable to expect an interview by April.
I was going to say the same thing. There's no chance he's getting an interview in April. No chance.
Wow.
You know what they say, like minds, you know?
Think alike, right? Hey, okay, once again, folks, Cruising with a Case Handler. Just want to remind everyone, if you ever get hurt in an accident, he's not on the show today. We've got a brother by the name of Adam Handler, who has settled well over $130 million for his clients without screaming, without yelling, without being like Mr. Crazy Eddie from back in the days. All right? Inside joke. All right? Once again, folks, make sure you make the link right now to PPID. God forbid you get hurt, especially in construction accidents and automobile accidents. You've got to call Adam Handler. The number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. If you want the man that's going to fight for the maximum compensation, not just going to accept whatever it is that the insurance company is offering you, you want that man, Adam Handler, 844-PPID law. Let's move over to another question here. It says here, I am a U.S. citizen. My wife just received her C1 spouse visa approval. We will enter the United States as soon as the end of February. Does anyone know if she will qualify for the third stimulus check funds that will most likely be approved in March? I know she needs to have a social security number. There are a few sticking points here, as she might receive her social security card right after they approve the stimulus. Can you claim it retroactively? I guess this is not an immigration question, but I don't know if you attorneys want to respond. It's entirely up to you.
I don't know the answer to that. My
Get
understanding
here.
is that it's, the stimulus checks are being automatically sent based on prior year's tax filing. So if she was not a tax filer back in the day, but there may be a way to claim it, I would say contact the accountant, their accountant.
Absolutely. All right. One more question here. I got rejected in student visa 4 times. Can I apply for a B1, B2 visa? Because I want to meet my husband. We haven't filed for the F2A visa yet. Let me know. Sounds like you have intentions here. I'll let the attorneys respond to this one here. Okay.
Well,
Be very careful, folks. Just listen carefully, folks. Listen to the answer to this. It's extremely important that people understand why you're coming to the United States. Go ahead, attorneys.
applied for a student visa and was denied 4 times. Well, I will give them. They're very persistent. That's good. Fact is, though, I'm not sure why they were denied, but my guess is they were denied the student visa because they weren't able to demonstrate that they have sufficient contacts to their country. In order to get a student visa, in order to get a tourist visa, in order to get various temporary type of visas like that, you need to demonstrate to the American consulate where you're applying that you're going to come back to your country when the time is up. To get a student visa, you need to demonstrate that. Plus, you need to demonstrate that you can support yourself, you can pay your tuition, you have a place to live, that you're not going to work. Various things you need to demonstrate. Now, who knows what, if any, or if all of those elements were not satisfied when these people applied for the student visa 4 times? You're going to face the same issue when you apply for your B1 or B2. The fact that you got denied 4 times, my guess is you're going to probably get denied the tourist visa as well. Now, if you're already married, that could also be a reason why you were denied your student visa, and will also be a reason. It will also likely be a reason why you will be denied for your tourist visa, your B1 or B2 visa, if you're already married. Why you haven't submitted a visa petition already is beyond me. Perhaps you haven't decided to use a lawyer and you're doing it yourself. That could be a good, that might explain why you're still sitting in your country waiting.
People, once again, as we end the show, as we get to the top of the hour, I will say to you as we conclude this segment here on 93.5, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Do not handle your case yourself. You will waste time, you will waste money, and potentially just screw it up and make it more complicated, and you'll pay twice as much, maybe more. Hire the professionals, hire the attorneys, hire PPID. Okay, get a consultation and then hire them. Work out some kind of a payment plan. I don't know if they offer that, but work out something with them. But get it going with the law firm PPID. Call them now. As we end the show, I say to everybody out there, regardless of what kind of legal issue you run into, call the full service law firm first. And once again, when it comes to immigration, dial the number here on a Thursday, February 11th at 9:58, 844-774-3529. That's 844 PPIDLAW. That's 844-774-3529. Make the link and make that connection. Because listen, you don't want to be penny wise and pound foolish. I've known of several people who have been deported, put in removal proceedings, ended up having to go back in again and do their cases over when it comes to immigration because they did not listen. Well, they did listen to their family member, the guy down the block, the lady on the Eastern Parkway. They listened to those people, or they let them do it, or they let their pastor do it. And
hey, Squeeze,
Squeeze,
if I just interrupt you, say, here's a perfect example. This person is just talking about a student visa. Damage is done. Even if he comes to us now, he's already applied 4 times and been denied. They're not going to give him a visa. There is no chance that this person is going to get a student visa or a tourist visa. I would say don't even waste your time because the damage is already done. They already tried to do this themselves, and now they're going to pay the price for it. They're married. They're going to need to file that visa petition and get that process going, and that's going to probably take a couple of years.
There you go, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. That's it. All right. Thank you so much for joining us right here on 93.5 WVIP FM. Remember, folks, reach out to the law firm, make the link, make that connection. We've got another PPID virtual law forum coming up in approximately another 2 months or so. We have to set the date, Conrad. We have got to set the date, Alexandra. And by the way, thank you so much, Alexandra. I did see you behind the scenes answering a lot of questions there.
I was not supposed to be there, just the last minute change of my plans, but
Well, you did. You
Looking
did
forward
help
to
out
being a
some of
part
them.
of the
Actually-
forum next time.
Squeeze, it was Alex's wedding anniversary on Friday night during the forum.
Oh,
So
wow.
clearly she decided to
She's
celebrate
above and
the big
beyond.
day. She decided to celebrate the big day by coming on to our show and answering immigration questions.
That's one way of putting it.
That's how devoted our lawyers at PPID are to their craft.
I see. Above and beyond. I'm quite sure if I had a wife, she would not let me do that. I'd be sleeping outside, But anyway, you're right. Dedication is extremely important. I want to say thanks, Alexandra, for doing that. It was a great forum, and I saw you answering those questions behind the scenes. So people got direct answers from Alexandra in the forum. And we've got another one coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk more about that in the near future as we decide upon the date. With that said, on behalf of the attorneys at PPID, Adam Handler, who is absent, the accident man, the case handler, the shark, the beast, the hot stepper, as I would say in Jamaica, all right? Settling all those cases, make sure to reach out to him for personal injury, 844-774-3529, and the same for immigration, 844-PPID-LAW. With that said, here on a Thursday, have yourself an amazing day, and we're looking forward to speaking with you again tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Congratulations to the Singh family. Thank you so much, Conrad, being on the ABCs and the WPIX and the national networks and professing and showing what it is that the firm truly represents when it comes to the immigrant community. Thank you so much and have an amazing day, folks.